So, ladies and gentlemen, we all know the history of the great Vyacheslav Fetisov, one of the greatest hockey players of all time. Probably as strong as a defenseman that you'll ever see on international play. And he could have been a Montreal Canadian if the gods were a little bit different. You're probably saying to yourself, well, didn't Fetisov get drafted by the Devils and end up with the Devils? Well, yes, he was part of the famous five. Now, when the Montreal Canadiens decided to look at trying to recruit players from Russia, they took a chance in round 12 of the 78 NHL amateur draft to draft Fetisov. Fetisov had won every award. He won probably one of the most decorated players of all time. Played with Red Army Moscow, or Cisco we call it. He came into the NHL with New Jersey and had such a career. He made the Hockey Hall of Fame in 2001. But again, they weren't going to open up Russia for players like Fetisov, and Montreal drafted Tretiak in '83. They weren't going to open themselves up to the NHL. Now, because of the rules back then, if after so many years Warnside players can re-enter the draft, the rules had changed. New Jersey drafted him 155th, 45th overall in the '83 NHL entry draft. Now, if Fetisov would ever play with the Montreal Canadiens, which would never have happened, but he tried. Montreal was trying all kind of different stuff. Now, Fetisov has won so many awards it would take 10 podcasts to do it. But he is a Stanley Cup champion. He's a Winter Olympics champion. He's a World Hockey champion, Canada Cup champion, World Junior champion, representing, of course, the Soviet Union. But he won Stanley Cups, in the mid-90s, where a lot of people thought that he was a little bit too old. But it was amazing. It was amazing. Anyway, the Red Wings with Fetisov were a great team. Fetisov with the Devils are a great team, but he was 10 or 15 years past his prime. Now, according to published reports, if I'm not mistaken, I'm just looking at the stats here, he was probably one of the first international defensemen to have close to a point-a-game pace in games against international squads. He would get a lot of points with the CSKA Moscow squad, but internationally, he would be on the score sheet left and right. But on the international level, you look at the stats, it's just amazing. He would up his game. I'll give you an example of what I'm talking about. At the World Hockey Championships, 143 games, 146 points. Now, tremendous. Now, he has received every award through the Russian Federation, achievement in sport. He is, again, one of the most decorated players of all time. Now, his only regret, he said before, was losing the 1980 Olympics to USA in Lake Placid, but the totals are just amazing. Now, he also, as a coach, won bronze as head coach of Team Russia in the 2002 Olympics, and they are only a handful of players. The Fetisov, along with his teammate Igor Larionov, Nina Meyer, Corey Perry, Joe Sakic, Patrice Bergeron, Sidney Crosby, and John Tatis, they have won the Grand Slam of ice hockey, which is the Stanley Cup, World Hockey Championships, the Olympic gold at the Junior Championships, World Juniors, and the Canada or World Cup Championship. So, tremendous. But woulda, shoulda, coulda. Montreal Canadiens, when I heard they drafted Fetisov, I said to myself, they can't get Fetisov. It's impossible. But it kind of opened it up, and there's different documentaries. I think Fetisov talks about that. There's either ESPN or Attorney for Attorney Doc talks like he's a first person of what happened. And it's quite the machinations, and that's a podcast in itself. But various YouTube highlights. There's a Russian YouTuber that has a whole group of Fetisov highlights from the World Championship. He was the Bobby Orr of Russia with a little bit of Joe Sakic or like a Sidney Crosby. Sure, it's hard to explain. He wasn't like Paul Coffey. Paul Coffey wasn't a pure leader like Fetisov was. Fetisov was the Joe Montana of the Russian defense at the time. And let me tell you, the first time I saw him play, I said, who's going to stop this guy? Because, that's the way it goes. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is another podcast talking about Montreal Canadiens draft picks. Thanks for listening. Have a good day. Bye.